The truth about the vaunted Texas A&M class of 2022. Appreciate you being here at the Voice of College Football. Best discussion, debate, and analysis based on your participation. So much hype about the A&M class of 2022. Rated the greatest of all time according to 247 Sports and the rest of the services. So much talk about Texas A&M losing the entire class. All that talent's gone. It was a complete waste. Which is the truth? Actually, neither. Let's break it down here at the Voice of College Football, as we always do. Top player in the class, Walter Nolan, turned in 2 decent seasons at Texas A&M as defensive lineman, but he is no more. 22 games played, 8.5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks this past season, but he is now playing at Ole Miss. He was the top-rated player in the transfer portal before Caden Proctor and Caleb Downs entered from Alabama. So Walter Nolan to Ole Miss, but he did play 2 years at College Station. Second-rated player in the class, Evan Stewart, wide receiver, turned in 2 nice seasons at Texas A&M. 91 catches, 6 touchdowns, the number 1 rated wide receiver in the country, 6th rated player in all of high school football out of Frisco, Texas, has signed with Oregon, will catch passes from Dylan Gabriel, playing for Dan Lanning in 2024. The 5th rated player in the class, defensive lineman L.T. Overton, has also left A&M. Transferred to Alabama, 6th rated defensive lineman in the country, top 4 player in the state of Georgia, number top 20 player. This is how insane that Texas A&M class was. 5th rated player in the class was the 17th rated player in the country. Racked up 31 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, and a sack at Texas A&M. Has had a decent career, been a contributor, but not lived up to that kind of billing. Also lost from this class, wide receiver Chris Marshall. Much troubled wide receiver, 11 catches in 2023. Signed at A&M, didn't play, went to Ole Miss, barely played, suspended as he was at Texas A&M, and kicked off the team by Lane Kiffin. Played most of his football this past season at Kilgore Community College, has now committed to Boise State just in the last week. Chris Marshall will try to get his career back on track on the blue turf. Anthony Lucas, one of the top players in this class. Number 1 rated player in the state of Arizona, top 32 players. So get this. Out of the top 10 players that Texas A&M signed, they were all in the top 32 in the country. Lucas out of Scottsdale, Arizona, played at Texas A&M in 2022, had 10 tackles. Then he went to USC in 2023, another 10 tackles and 3.5 tackles for loss. Anthony Lucas has yet to become an impact player, but he is no longer at Texas A&M. The next player in the class who has defected is Denver Harris, 7th rated cornerback in the country, 8th rated player in the state of Texas, top 45 player out of Houston. Played at Texas A&M in 22 when they went 5-7, had 3 passes defensed and 14 tackles. Went to LSU, who was also in the running for his services out of high school. Had 7 tackles for Brian Kelly and company this past fall with 2 passes defense, so Denver Harris has yet to fulfill his potential. P.J. Williams is the next player who's left this class, 7th rated offensive tackle in the country, a top 10 player out of the state of Texas, number 55 overall, has moved on to SMU. Also leaving this 2022 class is the 3rd rated tight end in the country, number 9 rated player in the state of Georgia, number 85 overall, Jake Johnson. Caught 24 passes at Texas A&M, 235 yards and 4 touchdowns. He is transferred this offseason to play for Mack Brown at North Carolina. That means Texas A&M lost 8 of the top 16 players in this class. So those are the guys that have left, and the talent is substantial. But let's keep in mind the talent and the potential that Mike Elko has to work with, it's pretty substantial too. And keep in mind, as we run down these top-rated players coming out of high school, most of them have been busts thus far, have not fulfilled their vast potential. But keep in mind, Mike Elko knows what he's doing. Defensive coordinator at Texas A&M through 2021, recruited a lot of these players, did not sign them, did not coach them. He was at Duke in 22 and 23, but now he gets his hands on developing these players and building a scheme to utilize their potential, and that starts with Shamar Stewart. defensive lineman at Texas A&M. He's still with the Aggies, and he is the best, and he is the top-rated player still at Texas A&M. Third-rated defensive lineman in the country. He was the top-rated player in the state of Florida, number 9 overall. 23 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, and 1.5 sacks. He is still at Texas A&M. As is Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy, 4th-rated defensive lineman, 2nd-rated player in the state of Florida. So Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher signed the top 2 players out of Florida and 4 of the top 11 players in the country. Brownlow-Dindy's done nothing, though. He's had 3 tackles, played 5 games in 2 seasons, so a lot expected out of him, and he has delivered nothing thus far. Every class needs a quarterback, and Texas A&M probably has one, although he's been banged up, he's been injured, started 4 games this past season. Connor Weigman could still be utilized here at Texas A&M. 53 pass attempts against Miami in a loss early in the season. The 3rd-rated quarterback in the country coming out of high school. 4th-rated player in the state of Texas, a top 22 player. So Texas A&M signed 6 of the top 22 players. 69% completion percentage this past year. 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions in those 4 starts. Injured and knocked out for the season against Auburn. Anai White is an edge rusher out of Philadelphia, the 4th-rated player at his position. Number 2 player in the state of Pennsylvania. 12 games played in 22 and 23. 11 tackles, 2 sacks for Anai White. So he's contributed little. Smoke Bowie, a 3rd-rated safety in the country. 7th-rated player in the state of Georgia. Didn't play in 2023. 2022, only 4 tackles. So a ton of wasted talent right there as a top 50 player. And look at this. Texas A&M had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 of the top 55 players in the country signed with this class. And next up, Malik Sylvia, 7th-rated edge rusher, has only had 1 sack in his career. 10th-rated player out of the state of Texas, but he's still at Texas A&M. Bryce Anderson still with the Aggies, 7th-rated safety in the country, number 11 rated player out of the state of Texas. He's contributed pretty well. He was 4th on the team in tackles this past year with 28, 54 tackles in 2 seasons with a pick and 7 tackles for loss. The 8th-rated safety in the country in this class of 2022, Jacoby Matthews. He's contributed 25 tackles, 41 in his career. He was 5th on the team in tackles. So Anderson and Matthews, decent players who are contributing. 3rd-rated guard center, top 15 player out of the state of Texas, Cam Dewberry out of Humble, Texas. He's still with the Aggies, as is Le'Veon Moss. You might be most familiar with him, 5th-rated running back in the class, top 100 player, as Texas A&M signed incredibly 17 of the top 93 players in the class. Had almost 500 yards rushing last year, 5 yards per carry, 5 touchdowns, caught 11 passes out of the backfield. You've got Marcus Groves Kilbrew, 15th-rated cornerback in the country. He's had 2 tackles in 2 years, so he's been a bust. But still, a lot of talent out of Georgia, as is Donovan Green, 5th-rated tight end. He did not play in 2023. Don't know what the story is there. Top 20 player out of Texas, had a nice freshman season, 22 catches, 2 touchdowns at tight end. Hunter Erb, offensive tackle, 12th rated at his position. Top 23 player in the state of Texas. He's still with A&M at College Station. Bobby Taylor, 25th rated cornerback, did not play, out of Katy, Texas. Top 200 player, so they're still waiting on him. Noah Thomas contributed despite his rather mediocre ranking by Texas A&M standards. Still a top 40 player in the state and a top 40 wide receiver. Caught 5 passes this past year, 2 touchdowns, but the year before, 24 catches. So 29 total catches for Noah Thomas and 5 touchdowns. Theo Mellon Orstrom, 16th rated tight end. He has yet to contribute to this team. Martrell Harris, 45th rated linebacker in the country, has played 22 games, a lot of special teams for Texas A&M, 14 tackles in 2 years with 2 sacks. Ish Harris has yet to contribute as the 46th rated linebacker out of the state of Texas. Jared Kerr, 42nd rated safety, has had 22 tackles, so he's played. Mark Naboo, 24th rated guard center out of the state of Washington. Also, Jaden Scarlett, still with the team, 91st rated defensive lineman. And Ethan Mazalski, the top-rated place kicker in the country, has yet to win the job. He's attempted just one extra point, and he made it. Add it all up, 30 players signed. Texas A&M has held on to 22 of them, but lost 8 of the top 16. But still, so much talent, because when you lose 8 of the top 16 in the class, that would be pretty devastating for most classes. But this one is so incredibly deep, at least based on talent. But very few of these guys have pulled through thus far. But again, I make the point about Mike Elko and defense, scheme, development of players. If these guys are willing, they may be better players as juniors and seniors, as Texas A&M lost the top 2 players and also lost 6 of the top 10 as well. Your thoughts about Texas A&M's class? Mike Elko, I think it's a home run hire. I don't know if he's going to get much out of these guys, but they're still there and ready to go. Your comments, your questions, right here at the Voice of College Football. Please like the video and subscribe, and we will see you soon.